Hello out there, I am here once again. It's a pleasure to host you on this delightful 90 minutes show where we bring you the stories with the extra torch. And today it is truly with the extra torch as we kick off with an update on the monkeypox business as well as vaccines controversy from the Southeast. This issue came up at the Federal Executive Council meeting. There are other health stories you won't want to miss. Science and technology makes a big entry tonight with a live guest. We just celebrated World Food Day. Agriculture news is still trending and we are not left out. Plus, reports from the National Assembly, the business, environment and the state of roads in some parts of the country. These and more with you and with me, Seun Olagunju. This is News Extra. Thanks for joining us. Minister of Health Isaac Adewale has called on Nigerians to ignore the rumor making the rounds that the military is involved in any vaccination exercise, as only the federal government, in conjunction with states, is allowed to do this. This was while briefing the press at the end of Wednesday's Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Council received an update on the state of public health of the nation, especially the outbreak of monkeypox.
So far, as of today, there are 74 suspected cases in 11 states of the country. We have confirmed 3 in Bayelsa State, and 12 of the suspected cases from Bayelsa tested negative. 4 suspected cases from Lagos tested negative. We are still expecting the results of the other ones. We are also doing advanced tests in NEDE, that's at the African Center of Excellence for Genomics and Infectious Disease, to really understand the genomics of this virus. Even when they are negative, the laboratory attendant should be able to tell us what exactly they are. And we will also be able to locate and identify the origin so that we can take adequate precaution.
Urging the general public to ignore the rumor of military carrying out vaccination exercises. The minister says the Ministry of Health only works in conjunction with states.
The military is not involved in any vaccination exercise. So the rumor that Federal is doing vaccination campaign is not true. And as of today, we are only doing vaccination campaign in 3 states. We are doing vaccination campaign against yellow fever in Kwara and Kogi because of yellow fever outbreak in some parts of the country. We are also doing cholera vaccination in Borno State.
Minister of Water Resources Suleiman Adamu got his memo approved for the completion of inherited irrigation projects.
After we mobilized to site, he found out that a lot of components of the irrigation project had been vandalized, and for us to be able to put that project into effective use, we now have to do those rehabilitation works, and we therefore brought a memo seeking council to give us an augmentation of about 236.5 million.
But there is still the urgent need to be adopted as available facilities are now stretched to limit. Such needs as urgent recruitment of epidemiologists and microbiologists. In addition, the institution of a public health emergency fund domiciled in the presidency to handle these outbreaks is also being recommended. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
Still talking health, life expectancy in Nigeria is increasing such that Nigerians born in 2016 can expect to live up to 63 years. Sharing news, isn't it? Somewhere along the line, however, is the fact that malaria, diarrhea, HIV and other diseases still claim lots of lives in this part of the world. These are some of the findings of the annual Global Burden of Disease study, an effort of over 2,500 collaborations from 130 countries. Health correspondent Rabi Abdallah tells us more about the study.
Life expectancy summarizes the mortality pattern that prevails across all age groups. Increased educational levels of mothers, increased rising per capita income, improved water and sanitation are some of the factors researchers say led to the global health landmarks. Despite progress on reducing deaths, obesity, conflict and mental illness, including substance use disorders, are said to be preventing further progress. One of the most alarming risks in the global burden of disease study is obesity. The rate of illness related to people being too heavy is on the upsurge, as heavy body mass index (BMI) is the fourth largest contributor to the loss of healthy life after hypertension, smoking and diabetes.
So there's a lot of reorientation that we need in Nigeria as far as excess weight is concerned. That is not an evidence of good living, it's not an evidence you are enjoying yourself, it's not an evidence that you are affluent, but that's an evidence of disease, that you are dying slowly.
Informed opinions and the views of the ordinary man on the street gave some twists to some of the findings of the study where the issue of life expectancy is concerned.
A lot of anxiety, pressure, all these issues have their bearing on life expectancy.
Health workers in the hospital, I want them to show more care to sick patients. You don't neglect them.
The quality of care that exists in a particular country is one of the determinants of, life expectancy. Well, government is trying, but we need to improve healthcare. Our national health insurance scheme coverage is too low. We need to improve that, because the situation in Nigeria right now is that if you don't have cash in your hand as a Nigerian, you cannot access health.
Government should work harder to reduce the number of people dying from preventable diseases, and this will obviously lead to significant improvements again in the life expectancy.
With a current life expectancy of 54 years, Nigeria is ranked 216th in the world and 16th in Africa. 37 years ago, life expectancy in the country was 44 years, ranking 58th in the world and 21st in Africa. In Abuja, Rabi Abdullah, NTA News.
They are often treated like outcasts and they find it difficult to attend to their daily needs. Even the few who get attention get it with discrimination. I am talking about persons living with cerebral palsy, but there is a family who wants to be the change these people are advocating. The family set up a foundation to keep celebrating these hidden faces. Adebola Brookston Sunday picks on the story from there.
Records show that about 700,000 out of over 1.5 million persons living with cerebral palsy world over are in Africa, especially Nigeria. Ayatollah is one of them. He is perhaps luckier than others with the same condition, as he does not face discrimination and stigmatization. Mrs. Yahaya Bello says the foundation will give succor, care and support to persons living with cerebral palsy and other disabilities.
This will also give them opportunities to exercise their constitutional rights, research and development, prevention of cerebral palsy and other special needs, managing of cerebral palsy and other special needs, efforts to find a peer and training for caregivers and educators, and finally, provisions of special moms forum.
Have actually challenged me and challenged a lot of parents that are hiding that God's given asset.
Nigeria has by far the most dynamic, energetic.
International observers commended federal government's efforts, but wanted to do more.
Promoting their inclusion in everyday society requires a multi-sectoral effort of strengthening and writing policy, changing social norms, and facilitating access to services.
And if anybody has any family member with this kind of condition, stop locking them up.
Cerebral palsy is caused by injury or abnormal development of the brain, and it is not contagious. Organizers want people to know that cerebral palsy is a disorder and not a disease. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
It wasn't business as usual for an importer of adulterated insecticides as the long arm of the law caught up with him at his warehouse in Amuwodofin in Lagos. The suspect, who was paraded by NAFDAC, was said to have been on the wanted list of the agency for more than 2 years. Musa Toliat has the details.
Now comprising more than 2,000 various brands of adulterated insecticides was seized from the suspect's warehouse. The value of the seizure is put at 50 million naira. The suspect, Obunneme Okpala, is said to have been arrested after the enforcement team of NAFDAC mounted a surveillance on his warehouse based on a tip-off from a whistleblower.
The team laid siege within the premises of the suspect. At about 3 a.m., the suspect, Mr. Obunneme Okpala, drove back into the premises with another vehicle that has a mounted siren to evacuate some of the other products in the boys' quarters, and was immediately apprehended by the team.
The Director General NAFDAC, Ademola Bujuri, said thousands of labels were also confiscated from the suspect.
They are inflammable, using it wrongly, or someone producing a counterfeited one, it could be a source of a fire outbreak.
This product is not. I'm not the owner of this product because they pack it in my house, and if they want, I can show them one by one who own this.
According to the DG NAFDAC, it is the second time in 2 years that Okpala is being docked by the enforcement team for product adulteration.
The game may have finally come to an end for Okpala, the importer and distributor of these adulterated insecticides. But NAFDAC says plans are underway to track down his collaborators and partners in crime across the country. From NAFDAC office here in Lagos, I am Musa Toliad.
NTA News.
Now to technology issues. There are indications that Nigeria will be technologically great if a little more effort is put and attention paid to local manufacturers springing up all over the country. If you doubt this, let me take you to Enugu, where the ingenuity of some automobile spare parts fabricators in the coal city is legendary. Chimobi Walter Naji reports.
This is Coal Camp Enugu, popularly known for its blacksmithing and fabrication of automobile and mechanical equipments. The Coal Camp Automobile Spare Parts Market in Enugu came to limelight in 1970 after the Nigerian Civil War for its strategic role in providing vehicle and automobile spare parts of all kinds and further fabricating parts to suit the needs of its teeming customers. The market provides the teeming unemployed Nigerian youths an alternative to white-collar jobs as they enroll into this largely untapped sector of the economy to make ends meet. Mr. Emeka is a graduate who has spent about 2 decades on the job.
Because we don't have current equipment that is in vogue in terms of technology for now. Because that's modern machines that can help us fabricate things and make things easier, make them even better than any new one.
We can fabricate some certain things that is not in the market and make it will work in the vehicle and some other machineries.
Some of the artisans enumerated challenges militating against the development of this sector to include paucity of funds, epileptic power supply, and lack of equipment to carry out their fabrications.
For the crusher, say the element is chopping their money from the electricity. So we charcoal to dry. I form the charcoal dryer and give them. So they have to dry it with that charcoal. So they get the less money from the element of the dryer.
Some stakeholders called on governments at all levels to woo investors into this sector as it will enhance more employment opportunities for the country. It is the view of these artisans that with government support, the sky is just a starting point for what they can fabricate. In Enugu, Chimobi Walter Naji, NTA News.
That's true, Chimobi. You can call that copycat technology, but real and sustainable technological advancement of any nation usually begins with research and practical demonstration of research findings through scientific-based products. Within the last 5 years, the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, embarked on research works that have resulted in the design and construction of kinetic turbine and propeller type of hydro turbine, both specifically for electricity generation, plus an aircraft engine also designed by the Institute. Science correspondent Kirian Umayo examines the scientific and engineering formula behind these products.
Two power-generating turbines have special features that make them suitable for the purpose they were designed. The kinetic turbine utilizes the flow of the river to generate electricity. According to experts, it floats in water without need for any civil work. The turbine is usually placed in a river with high current, with the strength to turn the propeller for maximum power generation. The second turbine is the propeller type with special features that requires civil work to build water pressure to drive the propeller.
The two has been tested, the kinetic turbine. It has already been installed and is working there, generating electricity. And this propeller type of turbine, we have installed it at our dam at Ikejile. Is working there, and we remove it to this place for the purpose of exhibition.
What could be considered a huge success is the designing and construction of aircraft engine, which can pass for helicopter engine, jet or power bike engine. The engineers say the engine principle for achieving this feat locally is based on compressed air and fuel, which heat the propeller to function. And here is the result.
The aircraft engine, the design, the manufacturing, all of those came through research, a long time research.
If we have cash, we update it to a level that the model of a helicopter or jet that is powered by jet engine.
This setting is what they refer to as the intestine of the system, from battery to the oil pump to oil filter, and of course the tank with the celluloid values and back circuit for electricals. In the engine proper, they have compressors for sucking, compressing and diffusion of the air to the combustion chamber that of course powers the engine to take off. Kirian Umayo, NTA News.
And joining me now to shed more light on this is Professor Mohammed Sani Haruna, the Executive Vice Chairman of the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI. Thanks for joining us, Prof.
Thank you very much.
That's quite commendable. What gaps motivated research and development which culminated in these products we just saw?
The problem we have just saw, the first two are in the areas of power. It is our desire to ensure that there is substantial local content in our power industries, such that we are not importing machines and equipment and men for the operation of our power industry. Our belief is that sustainability is only if we are indigenously producing some components and some parts to sustain the industries. The second one is actually in our effort, research and development, our intervention in transport sector. This engine is not for only what it has been demonstrated. It is the basis for marine transport and also aviation and other areas of transport, which with time the nation will come and see other products. This is just the beginning.
Wow. In the demonstration there, we saw that Nigerians are the ones doing this. Does NASENI have the capacity to sustain the technical and human capacity required for such things?
I must say that the capacity in NASENI is yet on tap.
Oh, really?
And this is because we don't have adequate resources to engage the engineers. In fact, we are underutilizing the capacity that is therein. But I assure you, when challenged and provided with needed resources, the nation will be happy for this.
Yeah, you just mentioned the challenge, and we hardly hear results of research like this from the likes of NASENI. Is this part of the reason, or are there other challenges?
NASENI, over the years, there has not been any year that we didn't innovate one product or the other. We are talking on only 3 components today, but previously you will recall several other components, including solar energy, solar modules. In fact, these ones are in the market.
Oh, really?
In addition, the first made in Nigeria motorcycle, tricycle are all from NASENI. The capacity is therein. But of course, there have been a lot of challenges where the resources are limited, the funding requirement is not met, and that lack of patronage of local products and patronage by government MDAs is low. and that is not how it should be, among other challenges.
We hope this would improve as you go along too, Prof. We thank you very much for joining us on News Extra. Professor Mohammed Sani Haruna is the Executive Vice Chairman of NASENI. And we will stick with technology. In the past, it sounded like an exclusive for certain climes, and rightly so, because the term technology is not an African coinage. However, all that is fast becoming history as Africans, and more particularly Nigerians, are by the day getting more and more familiar with the information superhighway. If you don't believe me, let me take you into the world of Nigerian-born Hashiru Aminu Idris Dora, who is currently the only IT professional across West Africa to obtain the Cisco Design Expert certification. Ugechi Paul will tell us more.
I don't want you to tell me that we have issues with power. Of course we have issues with power, this is something, but there are a lot of gazillion amount of cost-effective solutions. When I say cost-effective, it means that the value of the investment would be a much more multiplier than the investment itself. We have to work together, we have to work in a complementary fashion, and then we have to be able to integrate things and make sense out of all of this integration so that we can achieve that exponential multiplier.
Hashiru Aminu Idris Daura, a native of Daura in Katsina State, started off with a Bachelor of Mechanical Engineering degree obtained from the Bayero University, Kano. He is today a household name in the IT world by dint of self-discovery and improvement. Works in Saudi Arabia with the #1 IT company in the world, Cisco Systems Incorporated, as a lead solutions integration architect for global enterprise services.
I can say this confidently without a doubt. I believe in Nigerian minds. I believe in our intelligence, right? And I believe that wherever we go, we excel. We used to say it in the pidgin language, we de show them.
With specialties including e-government, country digitization and other business-driven IT consultancies, Hashiru has established a reputation for professional excellence throughout Europe, Middle East and Africa.
The IT environment is a huge profession. You have over 255 different professions in IT, and so far right now I've been certified as an expert in so many different fields. The last one that I'm really proud of to be the #1 of it in West Africa, and so far up till now the only one in West Africa is the design expert. The second person is in South Africa, and about a handful less than 200 people globally. It's called Cisco Certified Design Expert.
Put in proper perspective, Hashiru, over the past 15 years, has acquired Cisco certifications in the fields of routing and switching, service provider, IT security, Microsoft, as well as other IT advisories.
Hashiru has since obtained a master's degree from Capella University in Minneapolis, United States, and currently pursuing a second master's degree in strategic business studies from Harvard University. He is a low-hanging fruit, ready and willing to contribute his quota to national growth and development in the nation's IT sector. Ogechi Paul, NTA News.
That's true, Ogechi. That's a Nigerian to be proud of. Integrating women and youths into the agricultural value chain has been identified as a veritable approach to achieving national growth and development. This was the opinion of speakers at the ongoing National Agric Show as it entered day 3 in Abuja. Ado Adamu also updates us from the show ground.
3 of the ongoing National Agric Show is set aside for youth and women in agric business. Its sub-theme is empowering women and youth in agriculture for sustainable economic growth and development.
The day started with a symposium for participating women and youths to abreast them with the current realities in the sector.
You are here because you believe in Nigeria. You are here because you believe you have the potential to be developed.
Food is only said to be secured when it is available, accessible, and of course affordable.
Different groups and states then continued with the exhibition of variety of agricultural products at display.
It is my heart desire that we are going to build the capacity, we are going to use the energy, and we are going to make useful the research results.
This year is very wonderful. If you can see,
If it's we Fulanis, this is the first time we are preparing to bring our cow.
The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Audu Obe, was at hand together with the Senate Committee Chairman on Agriculture and Rural Development, Abdullahi Adamu, to encourage women and youths.
The youth are the ones taking over. The women are the ones that are the best managers of whatever resource you can find. What we do is to try and lead the way from the experiences we had before. But in summary, it's a big thing that all Nigerians must get involved in.
I want to appreciate them for this and hope that it will continue. Because from this 10th edition, we are bringing in more innovations to the show.
Meanwhile, the Farmers' Day, being organized by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, slated for tomorrow, has been postponed for November 9.
Ado Adam also, NTA News.
Still on agriculture, farmers under the Fadama 3 World Bank assisted project in Plateau State have been told to sustain and expand their various farm businesses as farming has become a very viable venture. Leader of the pre-mission team from the Fadama headquarters, Abuja, Bernard Albert, gave the advice while inspecting project farms in various parts of the state. Red Lot has the story.
The team, while interacting with the Wurankushak rice farmers at Baure in Panyam district, expressed satisfaction with the progress of the Nerika 8 rice variety which is being cultivated by them. Mr. Albert noted that since the demand for quality rice seed is high, seed multiplication must be taken seriously as other farmers would depend on them. At the Chapzeng Greenhouse Farm in Berkin Ladi, the farmers had planted the tomato Monica F1 variety using the drip irrigation method that waters the farm mechanically, thereby enabling the farmers to have an all-year-round harvest. The team then went to another tomato farm in Bisichi to inspect the progress of growth. At all the farms visited, the farmers applauded the effort of Fadama 3 in empowering them.
With the intervention of the Fadama 3, we are able to extend our farm to a greater height.
This is not only a greenhouse, but it is a green planet.
Leader of the pre-mission team and Fadama 3 coordinator Plateau State assured the farmers of more capacity and assistance.
Seed is very important in our intervention because farmers spend a lot of money on input, and seed is very, very critical. So we encourage farmers to multiply their seeds, and what we have seen now is very, very encouraging.
If youths on the plateau will come together and seek the support of the government through the Fadama 3 project, we are there for them at all times.
Farmers were given free consultation and advice in areas where needed. In Jos, Rinret Lot, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has arrived Ankara, the capital of Turkey, ahead of the high-level talks with President Recep Tayyip Erdogan on Thursday. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president is being accompanied on the visit by his wife Aisha, several ministers and other relevant government officials.
Invitations by the Turkish leader, President Recep Erdogan. The Nigerian leader arrived at Semboga International Airport, Ankara, at about 8:30 Wednesday evening local time. He was received by a high-powered Turkish government delegation led by the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ahmet Yildiz, and the Deputy Governor of Ankara, Murat Soylu. Also on hand to receive the president include the Nigerian ambassador to Turkey, as well as ministers of foreign affairs, interior, education, defense, industry, trade and investment, the national security advisor, and the Controller General of the Nigeria Customs Service. While in Ankara, President Buhari and his Turkish counterpart will lead their respective countries' delegations to bilateral discussions aimed at deepening existing ties between Nigeria and Turkey. These are in the areas of defense, cooperation, security, educational and migration issues.
Turkey is one of the biggest buyers of Nigeria's LNG. They're investing heavily in our own country. And, in addition to that, there are also matters of bilateral concern. You know that of recent, lately we have had issues with the routing of, weapons that are illegally brought into our own country and all of that, and about which we are expecting very strong commitment from the Turkish authorities on how to deal with these matters. But matters of investment and private sector participation in our economy are very important to our president.
The Nigerian leader, who is also expected to visit the Grand National Assembly of the Republic of Turkey for talks with the Speaker, Ismail Kahraman, will thereafter proceed to Istanbul, the Turkish Commercial Center, to participate in the D8 summit.
And in this particular instance, they are focusing on cooperation on matters of agriculture, on trade, on communication, on transportation, on energy sector, and on private sector participation. So all of these things taken together, hope is that they will be able, one, to trade and interact better with one another, and two, as a group, be able to make greater impact, have a bigger say in global affairs.
The summit, 9 in this series, is designed to bolster warm and growing ties across broad areas of cooperation with leaders of the D8 member countries of Bangladesh, Egypt, Indonesia, Iran, Malaysia, Pakistan, and Turkey. From Ankara, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Time for our first breather for tonight. Senate turns searchlight on Customs Service revenue drive, 6 blockage of revenue leakages in MDAs. Details when we return. Stay with us.
From 1967 to 1970, Nigeria went through a horrifying civil war. It didn't matter who was wrong or right. Everybody suffered. Those who fought that war say it should never happen again.
So a lot of people will say, but you were leading the first one. Yes, I led the first one. I don't think a second one is necessary. We should have learned from that first one. Otherwise the dead would have been to no avail. Would all have been in vain.
The words of our elders are full of wisdom.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
2017 Convocation and Commissioning of Abwed Ultra-Modern Hospital. 28 October, 10 a.m. Convocation Lecture. The Place and Continued Relevance of Private University in Nigeria by Professor Peter Okebukola. 11:30 a.m. Commissioning of Abwed Ultra-Modern Hospital in partnership with Astor of Dubai and Abbott Laboratories, USA, to provide international healthcare. 12:30 p.m. Fundraising and Endowment. 7:30 p.m. Founders Dinner and Awards. 21st October, 10 a.m. Convocation of 864 students and the conferment of honorary degrees on Professor Peter Okebukola and Dr. Douglas Jackson of Project Cure, USA. Expected guests from the Presidency, National Assembly, American Embassy, Ministers of Health and Education, NUC Executive Secretary, Professor Rashid Abubakar, Registrar, Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, Dr. T.A.B. Sanusi, Supreme Court judges, other judicial staff, members of the bar, vice chancellors, traditional leaders, and dignitaries from USA, Dubai, India, Britain, Denmark, and Nigeria. Abwed, providing the missing link.
Availability, check. Confidentiality, check. Integrity, check. Transformation in action. The 6 years of Governor Abdul Aziz Abubakar Yari in Zamfara State clearly manifest good governance and foresight. In fact, transforming the agrarian state to the promised land. Welcome to Zamfara, a state being governed by a visionary and dynamic leader whose magic finger is touching every aspect of human lives. No wonder Abdul Aziz Yari is being referred as agent of Buhari's change mantra. Yari is bringing development closer to the Zamfara people and the nation at large. Zamfara, the pride of the nation. This message is brought to you by Iowa Media Group.
Every day, I see patients who come to me suffering from infectious diseases caused by germs, from typhoid to diarrhea, flu, cough. An average human being comes in contact with over 1 million germs daily when we use the toilet, from our door handles, from other surfaces we transfer to others without realizing. That is why we recommend Dettol Antiseptic Liquid. Protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol sure.
My country people, I salute you. My name is Nasinamba. My name is Said from Kimana. We bring on NHIS, National Health Insurance Scheme. One of the things we do for NHIS now to promote everything we know they allow now get better care for hospital.
Our president, Muhammadu Buhari, can say all of us in Nigeria will deserve good health care.
Common healthcare centers don't they everywhere? We cannot go register
because if you're sick, you can't go any hospital and they're not going to treat you or take care of you.
You see the number and the email address on the screen. Call us. We get people. They go take action immediately.
NHIS.
Now we own.
National Health Insurance Scheme. Easy way for everybody to get confirmed health care.
Give me the value pack. Helen!
You do great value shopping.
Absolutely. I'm a champion at getting value.
Then you must have bought the Hapic 200 ml.
Why Hapic when I have this?
Even after applying them 10 times, they won't give a sparkling clean toilet.
Impossible.
Challenge. Detergent and bleach can't give a sparkling clean toilet even after 10 times. But Hapic 200 ml gives a sparkling clean toilet at one go.
Wow!
Hapic 200 ml. Real deal. Now only 200 naira.
4 years ago, we told Indianambra that it's forward ever and backward never. Today, we've delivered a better Anambra. Our homeland is safe and secure. Our hospitals are better and our capital city more beautiful. Workers are paid on time. Agriculture is all-time high. We've improved infrastructure and have been outstanding in education. We've united warring communities and created religious harmony. We delivered 181 projects in 181 communities based on their needs. Little wonder, we've attracted over $4 billion investments inflow, creating jobs for our people. We did all this when our nation is in recession. Don't you feel better now? Being Onyanambra, it's better today. Let's vote for a greater tomorrow. Vote Abga. Vote Willie Obiano. Better today, greater tomorrow.
There is a reason Africa is called the new frontier. What was once potential is now an opportunity ready to be seized. Once revered for our resources, today's wealth lies in our people. People who build the cities that shape the future. People who know an idea in one place means business in another. A generation for whom technology means there are no borders, no boundaries. We are the new lions in a brave new world, kings of the urban jungle. And there's a bank that puts the world in our pocket and the future in our hands. UBA, Africa's global bank.
This must be one of Mother Nature's greatest gifts. But there's something else it gives us. When we see such beauty, we want to share it with those we love. That's what LG wants you to see. Just what we see now, through our technology. LG OLED TV.
Do you know that the Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, what the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant to achieve our creed as we promise. We shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris.
Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility.
This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
Thanks for staying with us on the News Extra. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has called for an effective collaboration between the federal and state governments to provide effective firefighting services across the country. The Vice President, while receiving members of the Committee on Interior of both the Senate and House of Representatives, recalled some past fire incidences in the country which he described as most troubling. Vice President Osinbajo said the nation needs to pay attention, especially to markets, for the location of fire stations and other safety provisions.
Ravaging our economy. You cannot call, for instance, for people to come and invest where we don't take charge of that particular session. If you look at what happened in Kano, just the Kano fire disaster alone, businessmen lost over 2 trillion naira. So you cannot ask a foreign investor to come in when you've not developed the capacity of fire fighting or fire prevention.
Yes, the federal fire service today are having it a little bit okay, but I must say that at the state level it's really appalling. It's only few states in the country today that can boast of a functional fire station. So we want to see how what the federal service is doing, the state fire service can also replicate the same thing at the state level.
Now, the critical need for ministries, departments and agencies to block revenue leakages and wastages, as well as support federal government's drive for a sustained and vibrant economy, has been emphasized. This came to the fore at Wednesday's Senate plenary when consideration was given to the interim report of the Committees on Customs, Excise and Tariffs, as well as Marine Transport, in respect of a motion on the urgent need to examine the operations of the Nigeria Customs Service Revenue Drive. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adegunloye reports.
The committee immediately identified the following leakage channels as the major sources of revenue losses in the import and export value chain. 1. Undervaluation due to low ex-factory price, reduction in quantity or false description of goods, wrong tariff classification.
I believe what they've done the Senate proud, and we should point that out and then give them the time to go and complete the work.
If this committee will be able to recover funds for the government, I think it's be something that will be commendable, and I will recommend to other committees to ensure that we avoid unnecessary leakages in our system and ensure that we improve our revenue base for the overall interest of the country.
It must be emphasized that this is an interim report, and the senators concurred that a further 8 weeks be given to the committees to conduct further investigations and compile their findings. Passing for third reading was a bill for an act to establish the National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism. This followed the presentation of the reports by the then Senate Committee Chairman on Culture and Tourism.
After we took in the contributions from all critical stakeholders, particularly the NUC, their input really, was what guided us against the issue of professorship. Because as the institute is, with our cost content, we're limited. That was why we have to get up.
It's a sector that is based on competencies. It's experiential. When you go to for any tourism sector, it is service provision.
I think this is a major development in the tourism industry. Tourism is one major income and revenue earner for any nation. And I think it's the way to go for Nigeria, especially as we are trying to diversify economy.
A bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Health Science, Otupo, sponsored by Senator representing Benue South and former Senate President David Mark, passed second reading.
There are institutions that are very specialized these days. The emphasis in the world now is to take specialized institutions. So this university will basically train doctors, nurses, lab technicians, pathologists, pharmacologists, pharmacists, all the allied subjects in medicine up to university level.
Petitions from private citizens were also considered in the course of presentations by Chairman of the Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions, Senator representing Imo East, Samuel Anyang, of the various cases. These bordered on non-payment of benefits, entitlements and pensions, as well as wrongful retirements and dismissals. From the National Assembly, Dennis Adegunloye, NTA News.
Still at the National Assembly, the House of Representatives is considering a bill that seeks to criminalize jungle justice in Nigeria. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Onkwo reports that the bill, which has been passed for second reading, is to prohibit lynching and unlawful killing by mob action.
There have been reported cases of mob action across Nigeria, and most of them resulted in death. The Alu 4 is one of the several unlawful killings, which is in contradiction with the spirit and letters of the law. Worried by this, the House of Representatives is now considering a bill that will criminalize such action. The bill originated from the Senate.
We are aware of what happened in Plateau State, where 29 people were murdered by a mob.
The legislators, through a motion of urgent public importance, resolved to investigate the termination of the contract between Nigerian Port Authority and Intels Nigeria, moved by Representative Diri Doye from Bayelsa State, while another motion by Representative Abdulrazak Namdas urged the federal government to ensure the payment of compensation to poultry farmers who lost their birds to bird flu in 2016.
To investigate and find out why the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Finance failed to pay farmers in spite of government directives to do so.
Where Intel has over 7,000 Nigerians.
Let us not allow one company to monopolize the economy of this country.
But all those issues they have brought before us can only be established in consequence of investigation. Otherwise, the facts are not before the House.
The need to investigate alleged violation of the provisions of the Fiscal Responsibility and Public Procurement Act by the Transmission Company of Nigeria over foreign loans of $1.5 billion and $500 million moved by Representative Simon Arabo from Kaduna State, and to ensure that only qualified candidates receive the award of scholarship under the amnesty program moved by Representative Kolade Victor Akinjo from Ondo State were also adopted. The issue of attacks on personnel of the Federal Road Safety Commission featured on the floor as the House urged the federal government to facilitate the procurement of arms and ammunition for officers of the Commission as moved by Representative Solomon Bulus Maren from Plateau State. The motion by Representative Christopher Angoro from Cross River State urged the federal government to intervene in the in-season killing of Nigerians in Danare community in Boki local government area of Cross River State by Cameroonian security officers and established a military base in the area. Speaker Yakubu Dogara later granted audience to a delegation of Conference of Speakers of State Assemblies, where he stressed the need for grassroots development and financial autonomy for state assemblies.
If we see that of the money that is flowing to the states, if that translates into better living conditions for the people at the lower level, we now know that yes, the states assemblies are very effective.
The Speaker assured them that soon the Constitution Amendment bills will be transmitted to the state assemblies for the continuation of the amendment process. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Onkwo, NTA News.
The All Progressives Congress, APC, has thrown its weight in support of President Muhammadu Buhari, asking the World Bank to focus attention on developing the Northeast. This formed part of the deliberations at the party's 6th National Working Committee meeting held in Abuja. Salihu Abdullahi reports.
Contemporary issues relating to the forthcoming governorship election in Anambra State, activities of the APC Committee on True Federalism, as well as drafting a workable timetable for the party's meetings at different organs were discussed during the meeting, which was held behind closed door.
One of the items that was discussed, amendment of the constitution of the APC with a view to strengthening the constitution of the APC in line with democratic principles.
Our party, the APC, has seen the wisdom to bring all of us together so that when we discuss policies and way forward for our party, we'll be talking on the same plane.
Not only in stabilizing the party, but also is contributing immensely towards the various challenges that have appeared before us.
National Publicity Secretary of APC, Bolaji Abdullahi, spoke on the unanimous decision of the National Working Committee to uphold the President's position on the development of the Northeast.
as the northeast of Nigeria continue to suffer the devastation that it has suffered, and continue to represent a very dark spot in human development indices for Nigeria, there is a need to direct special attention to that part of the country.
7 APC governors and 4 deputy governors attended the meeting. It is the 6th consultative meeting by the National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress, and coincidentally being the first since the return of President Muhammadu Buhari from his medical trip abroad. And as such, they used the opportunity to pray for the president to continue with his good work. From the All Progressives Congress National Secretariat in Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
China says it will increase its assistance to developing nations like Nigeria in order to propel the building of a world economy that is able to reduce poverty and increase its associated consequences. Chinese President Xi Jinping disclosed this at the opening of the 19th National Congress of the Communist Party of China. Correspondent Makut Simon Macham reports from Beijing.
Good day for all Chinese, whether at home or in the diaspora, as the 19th National Congress of the Communist Party is held after the last one in 2012. The event, colorful in all ramifications, goes underway as members of the Central Working Committee, the Politburo and the delegates take their seats. Now, as the Chinese President Xi Jinping rolls out his scorecard for the past 5 years, the ears and eyes of the world are wide open as to what steps China intends to take in the coming years as it continues to engage the rest of the world. He speaks about key issues such as China's economic growth and influence in the world, achieving the One China policy, eliminating poverty in the country, job creation, fight against corruption, strengthening institutions, and entrenching party discipline. To the world, President Xi Jinping promised that China will continue to open up more and more to the world to expand foreign trade and encourage investment at home or abroad. President, Nigerian Union of Journalists, Wahid Odusile, one of the journalists invited to the Congress, speaks on the significance of the Congress to Africa and Nigeria.
So China is becoming a big player around the world, and China has chosen Nigeria to be one of its partners in Africa in particular, and so Nigerians naturally should know what is going on in China.
China's diversity was on display as delegates representing various parts of the country displayed their colors in the event that took place under morning rains. From Beijing in China, I am Makut Simon Macham, NTA News.
And back home, if you have ever been stranded on the highway or anywhere for that matter, you can begin to understand what motorists and commuters are going through on the Calabar-Biasi highway in Cross River State. That highway has collapsed, causing everybody a lot of hardship because the road connects the 18 local governments in the state. Omar Basi Edet tells us how bad the situation is.
The Calabar-Biasi highway along Iwuru community, apart from linking the state, also provides access routes to northern Nigeria. It finally gave way following a recent downpour in the state. The road, which over time had been threatened by erosion, remained a death trap for people plying the routes.
It's creating a lot of hazards for people who are travelers. Immediately we got here with the vehicle, the driver wanted to be stubborn to continue movement, but they had to stop it because if it had gone again, they have collapsed with the passengers in the vehicle.
About 3 months now where this thing happened. As it happened, it remains for motor for key children here. The thing comes, and even for our house where we hear as the thing take for.
Let federal government to look into this incident of this road. It's not only Cross River that driving here.
With the collapse, steps have however been taken with the provision of an alternate route for commuters.
It's an emergency. Nobody can predict it. So we came here to solve this problem. That's why we're trying to create a diversion now.
The people are hopeful that besides remedial work, the federal government would put in place a good road to ease their challenges. In Biasi local government area of Cross River State, Umo Basedate, NTA News.
And from Calabar to Plateau, where commuters plying the Kuru-Vom-Manchok Road have decried the deteriorating state of the road, calling on relevant authorities to take steps to repair it in view of its critical importance to the economic life of the people of Plateau and the entire North Central Zone. Ndeyang Andeyaba Jang had a drive along the road and reports on her experience.
When this road was constructed and inaugurated on the 21st of May 2013, it was awe-inspiring, reducing travel time between Jos, Kaduna and Jos, Abuja. However, 4 years after the inauguration, 3 kilometers of the road from the escarpment area to Danto village in Ganawuri have deteriorated, with Danto portion worse, causing hardship on commuters.
This road is it's not quite up to 10 years, and yet it's this bad. So you begin to wonder, how was it done in the first place? Follow this road, you have to repair your car.
Member representing Barrick in Ladi and Rion Federal Constituency, Stephanus Dungyang, on assessment tour, decried the deplorable state of the road.
It deserves immediate attention. It is necessary for us to ensure that FEMA and the Federal Ministry of Works step in urgently.
First of all, for the Federal Ministry of Works to consider taking the entire road stretch.
Also, the chieftain raised security concern since vehicles now use alternate routes through the village. Some youths have taken upon themselves to provide alternative routes, in the process created some sort of toll gate. The FEMA Federal Road Maintenance Engineer, Plateau State, Boaz David, and the Federal Controller Works, Koya Kende, say measures are being taken to fix the road.
Our headquarters has advertised the maintenance of that road, general maintenance of Kuru-Vom-Manchok Road.
The failed portion will definitely, encompass, use of a cross-stone base.
Considering the economic importance of the road, they are hopeful that urgent attention will be given to repair it. In Jos, Indenyan and Abagyang, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, says it will soon embark on a nationwide enforcement of laws on driver's license to caution and punish violators. Corps Marshal Obuyo Yemi, who announced this while speaking with the Secretary of the Transportation of the FCT, said the time to stop disobedience of the regulation on the use of driver's license by motorists in the country is now. Salihu Abdullahi has the details.
The Federal Road Safety Corps says it has observed that many motorists are driving without driver's license and up-to-date vehicle documents. The Corps Marshal Bubuye Uyeyemi announced that measures to ensure that the perpetrators are sanctioned accordingly are in top gear. He directed the state commands to commence special operations targeted at detecting violators and bring them to book.
I've already given direction. It is illegal for anybody to be driving without a valid driver's license. Anybody arrested, such vehicles must be impounded.
In his reaction, Secretary of Transportation of FCT, Kayode Opoifa, expressed support to the FRSC campaign on safer roads.
We want to take advantage of the experience and the strength of FRSC, and then the synergy that FRSC had extended to many states, which we have also seen the impact.
He commended the leadership of the Corps over successes recorded through international recognition of the Nigeria driver's license and spoke of greater collaborations with states. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Let's take another break. When we come back, we will take business news and look at efforts to tackle terrorism. Please stay with us.
Where innovation begins. The brain, LG inverter technology. Better performance. More energy savings. Now in the entire lineup at LG.
The family of Okon has been taken hostage by an evil-looking creature.
When Amatem Fort appear, malaria run for cover. Amatem Fort I get some gel capsules, tablets for adults, and suspension for pikin. Amatem does not eat somebody and are very easy to use. Remember how Amatem Fort I get scratch pin to confirm the original, and I get some gel capsules. Amatem. Say no to malaria, yes to life.
With Happy Cover from Leadway Assurance, you'll be covered for, well, almost anything. From personal cover to automobile to house, all with one single premium. Get happy. SMS happy to 22865 and we'll call you back. SMS now. Live happy with Leadway Assurance, ensuring happiness since 1970.
Where is the pulp? The pulp. Where is the pulp? Where is the pulp?
Taste the goodness of real orange pulp in every gulp.
Where is the pulp?
5 Alive Pulpy Orange, now in your neighborhood.
Oh, see how oily I am. It'll take forever to clean this.
Take it easy, Pan. Your days of endless scrubbing are over. Madame just bought Sunlight Dishwashing Liquid.
What do you know about a Pan's life?
This advanced formulation has real lemon juice that'll cut through all those stains fast in just one wipe.
Wow, that was fast.
See how easy it is to remove oil in one wipe? Sunlight Dishwashing Liquid removes oil stains in just one wipe.
Can your milk do this?
Can your milk do this? Mine can.
With Hollandia evaporated milk, your ice cream, custards, and variations of beverages taste pleasantly different. Hollandia evaporated milk. Life tastes different.
From the House of Cheese.
Thanks for staying with us on the News Extra. Time now to talk business. Regular tax remittance identified as catalyst to the nation's GDP growth as stakeholders ascribe the positive indications on the equities market to a relative economic stability. Let's now join Abolade Salami for more details on business news.
Good evening and welcome to Business News segment. In order for the federal government to cut down on its borrowing plans, the need for regular tax remittance towards investing in capital projects and boosting government sources of revenue has been advocated. Experts say Nigeria, with its current tax GDP ratio of 6%, needs to work out modalities that would drive an increase in revenue with a view to stimulating economic growth and development.
We have no choice as a country than to borrow. In the short term, it's absolutely necessary that we borrow. Simple reason, we have a huge revenue shortfall. If we improve our tax system, expand the tax net, and improve the tax to GDP ratio, then the dependence on borrowing by the government will be less.
And this is in line with the federal government stance that we should look inwards and make sure we rejig our tax system.
The macroeconomic indicators that has maintained a positive trend in recent time has led to the appreciation of the equities markets.
The market has started reacting to the positive direction of the economy.
Investors and speculators of the capital market have been challenged on the need to trade stocks with knowledge and information.
The investing public is that they need not fear the market, provided that they trade the market with knowledge. It's a platform that you can use to experiment trading in stocks on the Nigerian stock exchange with virtual money, so that means you are not going to lose any money.
And here are details of midweek trading on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
At the close of midweek trading, volume of shares traded stood at 198 million shares, valued at 2.9 billion naira, which swapped hands at 3,543 deals, with an all-share index of 36,641.52 basic points, while the market capitalization finished at 12.6 trillion naira.
And that ends business news this midweek. Many thanks for watching. News Extra continues shortly. Good evening.
Thank you, Abolade. Now, the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate says it is committed to the welfare of senior citizens after their meritorious service to Nigeria. The agency restated this at the ongoing verification of pensioners in Ibadan. Yemisi Ajagun reports.
The Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate manages the old pension scheme for pensioners who left public service on or before June 2007 and did not transit to the new contributory scheme. The Ibadan exercise of verification of old pensioners, which held at 3 venues, was conducted peacefully even when the turnout of pensioners was high.
We now want to have a data bank which will contain the names of all pensioners throughout the country.
It's still better than what we did previously.
We've had so many screening exercises before, but this is with a difference.
Director of Pensioner Support Services at the agency, Fumilayo Onofowokon, said the regular exercise was to ensure that the welfare of elder statesmen do not suffer even after their service to the nation.
Once a pensioner has passed through the verification exercise and the documentation is complete and accurate, computations are done, the pensioner can relax and expect his or her pension for life.
The senior citizens are people that we give respect highly because they worked for this nation from independent to date, and the way and manner they are going with the pension before is something that we don't appreciate. The
agency told newsmen that arrangements were made to attend to the sick pensioners at their various locations. From Ibadan, Yemisi Ajagun, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate has concluded all arrangements for the payment of pension benefits to the retired Civil War affected police officers as approved by the Buhari administration. The first batch of the exercise is to commence this Friday, October 20th in Enugu. It will include payment to 162 officers and 57 next of kin who have also not been paid their death benefits. It will be recalled that some members of the armed forces, the Nigeria Police and paramilitary who took part in the Civil War of 1967 were dismissed from service. This was, however, commuted to retirement in 2000 through a presidential amnesty by the then Obasanjo administration, and since then, many remain unpaid. The Buhari administration ordered the settlement of their entitlements after a series of verifications by PITAD and the Police Service Commission. Terrorism has come to assume a global dimension, and there is a global response to curb it. No effort is considered great to fight this menace, so it is heartwarming that the police is engaging its officers in an anti-terrorism training to equip them for this onerous task. Paul Abel reports that this training, taking place in Calabar, Cross River State, and targeted at officers of the Superintendent Cadre, was opened by the AIG Zone 6, Abubakar Marafa.
The AIG, represented by the Cross River State Commissioner of Police, Afiz Inua, said the National Counterterrorism Crisis Response Incident Commanders Management Course 2017 will be replicated in all the zones of the country.
This is an opportunity that the police is giving for us to be prepared, even in the South where terrorism is not known.
It is a continuous thing. The IG is being proactive, and we'll continue. You don't have to wait for, they say there's a bomb here, the bomb there. Train our officers, and at the time you train this category of officers, they go down and train others down the line.
The course is structured into 3 segments. One, understanding more robustly what major incidents are, and 2, responding to major incidents, which encompasses the role of each security agencies.
Officers from the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Fire Service and other security agencies are also participating in the training.
The police authorities have assured that they are leaving no stone unturned to ensure that the officers are adequately prepared to counter any form of terrorism, be it any part of the country. From the Mike Igini Hall here in Calabar, I am Paul Abel, NTA News.
And following challenges of insecurity, the military coined programs such as Harbi Konama, Crocodile Smile and Lafia Dole. The slogans, many say, go beyond mere words but action that tackles head-on terrorism to safeguard the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the country, as well as promote peaceful coexistence. The military has gone a step further through its civil relationship, form right synergy for de-radicalization and prevent violent extremism. X-raying civil-military relationship counter-narrative initiative Operation Lafia Dole, discussants on NTA's current affairs program say the project speaks volumes with concerted actions. Over now to Talatu Izirike.
Nigeria, like many countries in the globe, is faced with challenges of insecurity that is being tackled head-on with yielded results.
The government of Nigeria today has done so much in the area of curbing terrorism.
The next line of action is de-radicalization, having won the fight against insurgency. This the military has started through its civil-military relationship counter-narrative initiative, Operation Lafia Dole, to tackle insurgency and promote peaceful coexistence.
This is the period of stabilization. It is very important that we ensure that these activities, these non-kinetic activities, this reorientation, it is monitored, it is checked, and to ensure that we achieve the peace we're looking for.
We must make sure we play our role properly, not just supporting them, but doing what is right in order to make the society safe.
It is there in the Quran and in the Bible, the teachings that if we teach our tenants, if we teach our people the way of God, things will be okay for us.
For many others, there is the need to address the root cause of insurgency and promote right ideology.
These insurgents are indoctrinated and brainwashed. So it is proper to fight the mind and the ideologies.
We should come together to eradicate this act of terrorism. Why? In what processes we should, encourage our youth, to boost our economy. We encourage them to go to agriculture. We have enough land. Our Chad Basin area can feed the whole West Africa.
Yes. We appreciate the government, the kind of work they are doing now. For example, if you look at from the north now, an average person can cater for his family, cater for his people without thinking to go and meet anybody, because their Greek business is now bringing so much money. I think the government should do more, so they will not have time for anybody that is inviting them to anything that is wrong.
It is generally agreed that the counter-narrative initiative Operation Lafia Dole falls in line with the Charter of the United Nations Plans of Action for preventing violent extremism. And analysts say the military are professionals, neutral and law-abiding to rules of engagement in any conflict. Talati Ezerike, NTA News.
Let's do another break and make some money. When we return, we will look at the challenges of students' industrial training.
Unemployment, notably youth unemployment, features strongly in our party's manifesto. We intend to attack the problem promptly through revival of agriculture.
Is going a long way. Actually, I bought an acre of land for 60k like 2012, and presently I have a cassava farm and a yam farm.
100 million naira with Malta Guinness. Find your code. SMS it with your name to 32011. 1 million naira plus cash and airtime prizes to be won every week. Malta Guinness. Let's go.
Hot and dry condition causes the body to sweat, which attracts germs that are easily passed from one person to another. Dettol Cool combines Dettol's protection and an invincible icy feel for super cool confidence. Use Dettol Cool.
Helen! Your kitchen gets 10 out of 10. Thank you. This also gets a 10. Should we see the toilet now? Sure. This gets just 1. It is clean, but not perfect 10. Better than my detergent and bleach? Impossible. Challenge? Try the new Apic 10X. Compared to bleach and detergent, Apic sticker formulation removes yellow stains times better, giving you a sparkling clean toilet. Wow! Now you also take that Apic 10X challenge.
Also available in 200 ml pack.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is working to ensure access to safe, good quality essential medicines with the World Health Organization pre-qualification of made in Nigeria pharmaceutical products, stiffer penalties for fake drug offenders with a review of NAFDAC laws, national, regional and international collaborations, cutting-edge technologies, including the mobile authentication service.
The production and distribution of counterfeit medicine and adulterated food products have negative impact on our health and economy as a whole. I urge all Nigerians to support NAFDAC in safeguarding our health. God bless Nigeria.
Let us support NAFDAC to win the war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
You're welcome back. Trafficking in persons is a global challenge that has been identified as one of the most tragic human rights issues, with flagrant disregard to international laws. This transitional crime is on the increase daily with its attendant consequences, a situation that has attracted the attention of the United Nations General Assembly. In this report, Dele Atumbi takes a look at the dangers inherent in trafficking in persons.
Trafficking in persons is a criminal act that debases human dignity and exposes the persons involved to a lot of dangers. They are prey in the hands of their traffickers with no foreseeable time of getting freedom except there is intervention from the law enforcement agencies. This illicit trade is seen as another form of slave trade that has been abrogated. The development splinters families, distorts global markets, undermines the rule of law as well as spoils other transnational criminal activities.
You know, we're all well aware of, and it's a problem that affects us in Nigeria, but also in Europe.
Statistics have shown that over 3 million persons globally are in situation of forced labor as a result of trafficking, out of which 56% are women and children.
Between 2011 and 2016, more than 630,000 irregular migrants and refugees were rescued or disembarked in Italy, while another 13,000 were estimated to have died crossing the Mediterranean.
Child labor in a child's lives, it won't make the child to express himself. The child will not be able to speak where his or her mates are speaking.
Concerned by the alarming rate of the crime, the United Nations prohibited this act to restore human dignity. To create awareness on this, the United Nations earmarks 18th October every year as Anti-Trafficking Day.
Nigerian youths must not die along the Sahara Desert and the Mediterranean Sea.
Apart from being a signatory to the International Treaty Against Trafficking in Persons, Nigeria has an act prohibiting trafficking in persons.
One of the blue rights of every Nigerian is the right to human dignity as enshrined in the 1999 Constitution as amended. However, trafficking in human persons as well as child labor is an infringement on this fundamental right. It behoves on government and the governed to continue to collaborate in protecting this right. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Now, for how long will Nigerian youth continue to risk their lives in search of an imaginary greener pasture in foreign lands? The Missing Steps, a television miniseries on irregular migration, captures the risks, challenges and dashed hopes with the aim of achieving a safer and better migration process. Oyinaya Kalu Oka was at the launch of the movie in Abuja.
Welcome to paradise!
Shot in Nigeria and Switzerland, the movie The Missing Steps was everything about irregular migration. The lead actor, Joshua, after risking his life to get to Switzerland, was eventually repatriated. The death rate due to irregular migration by Nigerians is worrisome. Data from the International Organization for Migration indicates that Nigerian migrants account for the highest number of arrivals in Italy by sea.
With about 70,000 compared to total of 99,000 migrants that have arrived in Italy by sea from all countries between January and August 2017.
The testimony we got from these migrants, eye in eyes, were tremendous. They were abandoned in the desert. They were tortured, mistreated. They saw their friends die next to them.
The Controller General of Immigration, Mohammed Baba Dede, who incidentally wrote the movie, says government is committed in preventing irregular migration.
That's the statistic according to migration. Will be one of the 10 countries that will export labor. If we have to export labor, we need to negotiate how this can be done in order not to allow our citizens to take the risk and die along the route.
I hope that this message will save a lot of our youth who are seeking hope in hopelessness.
In partnership with the NTA, the movie is expected to run for 13 weeks.
And by partnering these organizations, the production is to really bring out the salient issues that will really tackle the matter head on in order to combat this situation of illegal migration.
This film will also, if it gets to the right target at the youth, it will create a lot of impact.
In the very beginning, we were clear what we wanted to achieve in terms of the direction principle of the story we're telling.
The production of the movie The Missing Steps, which started about 8 years ago, is in collaboration with the Nollywood, Swiss and Nigerian governments. Oyinaya Kalu Oka, NTA News.
So far, so good. One more segment to go. Don't go away. It's update on sports and more after this break.
Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Sir Ahmadu Bello, Chief Obafemi Awolowo.
These patriots worked together to achieve independence for one united Nigeria. Although some may say Nigeria is a mistake, we all know that the Almighty never makes mistakes.
God has not made a mistake by bringing us all together in the way that He has brought us together. God has put us together here so that we can build a community that will be an example to the entire world.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
With heavy hearts but with total submission to the will of God Almighty, the family of late Chief Edward and Chief Mrs. Angelica Ekpeyongyong of the Royal House of Abongyong Edeta Sido Asakonyong of Adiabo Okrikang in Odukbangi local government area of Cross River State announces the passing on to eternal glory of our dearly beloved daughter, sister, auntie, mother, and grandmother, Princess Margaret Ekpeyongyong, aged 62. Funeral arrangements are as follows. Wednesday, 18th of October 2017, opening of Morning House at number 14 Ekbobasi Street, Calabar, time 6 a.m. Thursday, 19th of October 2017, Visual Mass at St. Mary's Pro Cathedral, Howell Street, Efodobwa, Calabar, time 6 p.m. Friday, 20th of October 2017, Funeral Mass at St. Mary's Pro Cathedral, Howell Street, Efodobwa, Calabar, time 10 a.m. Interment follows immediately after. She is survived by her son, Lawrence Okweyo, grandchildren, 3 sisters, Dr. Mrs. Teresa Isen, Mrs. Juliet Achibong, and Mrs. Winifred Oyoita, for the bereaved family.
we made it to the last lap. Time now for sports. Super Eagles to camp in Morocco ahead of World Cup qualifier against Algeria next month as